and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Today I'm going to be continuing work on my dining room and on things that will probably go in it. I say probably because if you watch the last video, you'll know I started off that I was going to work on a piece that could possibly have gone in it and ended up working on the actual room. As I sit here now filming this, I have got bits drying everywhere. The walls have been painted again. The floor is somewhere, I'm not sure where. And then I've got the false wall and the chimney breast sitting around as well. So, that said, let's get started and see where we can take it today. Now, I'm going to start off with a piece that is going into the room, and I've taken it apart. Now this, by pulling all the pieces, is the china cabinet dresser, depending on which part of the world you're in, that I want to put in there. Now this came free with the first edition of a Doll's House part work. Now when I refer to it as a part work, what I'm talking about is one of those magazines that you buy week on week or fortnight on fortnight. That's 2 weekly for those of you in America, because I know you don't use the term fortnightly. And the idea was that you collected the pieces to build a doll's house. It costs an absolute fortune. You can buy a far better doll's house for the same sort of money, and it takes forever. And I don't know about you, but I don't think I could be that patient. Anyway, the first copy came with this cabinet. Now, these bits are a mirror, which I'm keeping out of the side of the camera because I don't want to blind you. And then this is the back that fitted onto there. And I've had to break the pins that held everything in place to get it off. But I can glue it back in place. And one of my doors is broken. Now what I've also got is there is perspex for the glass doors, which are those two, and I've got little metal pins that are the handles. I put them in there to keep them safe, and so far I haven't lost it, and it's been almost 2 weeks, so that is good going. The piece itself isn't wood, it's plastic. Now, I've seen these since, because I've had this for over a decade. I've seen these since going for quite good money, but to be fair, it's not great quality. If you can probably see on the camera that the finish is a bit on the rough side, and if this was wood, I'd be quite disappointed. Now, I'm actually going to be trying spray painting this. Now, I'm not very good with a can of spray paint, so I may have to talk nicely to my husband, who is a bit better. He keeps telling me, you know, smooth, thin coat, all this. I still haven't finished painting the Halloween bucket that I started a good many years ago. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I'm not sure. I had an idea and it never developed anyway. But this is one of the pieces that I'm going to make over. Now, I'm debating at the moment whether I need to spook it up. Now, my more plain furniture, particularly the two bare wood side tables that I'm going to do, I am going to spook up because they're going to be a bit more in your face. And I'm thinking about either adding cobweb pieces or bits of bat wings. But I'm not sure that I need to add anything to this. This is already quite over the top, and I think once it's painted black, this fancy bit at the top, these flourishes, which would be some quite ornate carving if it was wood, it's going to look okay. Now I do have some what do I call it? Yes, some confetti. The plastic scatter confetti that you get for sprinkling over your tables or in amongst display pieces. I've got some bats in that, and I could possibly add a bat at the top, but I have not got much ceiling height. So I don't want to go any higher than that, and I like it as it is. I think a lot's going to depend on how it comes out when I get the spray paint on it. So that might be what I do now. Start with a little bit of spray paint and see how we get on. I may repaint the handles. Gold doesn't really go with my aesthetic. I know it could still look quite gothic if you use gold and dull it down and stuff, but I am tempted to go for a silver or more of a pewtery kind of effect than an actual silver. We'll see. Plenty of time for that yet. So I think what I'm going to go and do is I'm going to go and get the spray can out and give this a go. But I better find some gloves first, because I really don't want black spray paint all over my hands. The cabinet is currently drying. It's had its spray paint and it's looking good in black, but it's drying and it's quite humid again today, so it's taking a while, which seems to be the story of my life today. Everything that I'm working on is taking time to dry. So we're going to swap over to another one of the projects, and we're actually going to swap back to the side tables. Now, I've got two of these, and these are the cheap bare wood furniture that I've bought in the UK from the range, but I know that Dollar Tree sells similar in the United States. I believe that you can probably find similar furniture online pretty much anywhere where you are. Probably not as cheap, because obviously there's postage involved, but it is just that basic side table. Now that one's got a bit of a nick out of it. I may put another piece of this is cereal board. I may put some more cereal board over the top if I do it that way. Yeah, I could do that and it'll just cover that up, but there's probably going to be stuff on there, so I don't know yet. I don't know how obvious it'll be once I paint this black, because it's going to be black as well. So I've obviously got the two of these, and I have so far removed the little wooden handles. Now I've got some glue I've got to take off there, or get a blade and do that shortly. But what I'm going to do, my plan with these, is to give them a spooky vibe. And I did think I was going to have to reduce the size. And this is what actually started me on doing the work in the dining room with the last video, because I needed to know how much room I'd got. And then it turned out that I could fit in the size of chimney breast that I wanted and still get these two in either side of it. So that was a bonus. It meant I haven't had to cut these down. So obviously I've got holes on the front because this one comes with 3 false drawers. And what I'm going to do is, I've got a piece of the cereal box material, and I've actually got 2 because I've cut these ready, and I'm going to stick these in place, and I'm going to make myself 1 faux drawer. Might slide a little bit. Oh, I got these the wrong way around. I actually cut them for each piece, and yeah, I think I've got these the wrong way around. Yeah, that one fits better. And then I'm just going to have one faux drawer. Now, obviously I'm going to glue this in place. That's going to be my first step. And I was thinking, how am I going to do the handles? Well, I think I'm going to find some beads of some description and use those. But I've got a choice to make. Because what I've got is I've got some bat confetti. Now, this is the stuff that you might find in the shops around about Halloween. Or, like me, you can buy it on the internet in the spring, because that's what I did. I'm sure it was the spring when I bought it. I know I bought it at a really weird time. Anyway, I've got two different sorts, and they give me the opportunity to try out two possible designs. And what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to either go with one of the big ones with a handle, possibly even a wire handle in this case, so it looks like, you know, it goes from wing to wing, or go with the beads and go with the two smaller ones. Now, I don't really want these to stand out too much. I want them to be quite subtle. So I could layer them and make them deeper, but I think one layer is going to be enough, I hope. And that once I spray paint it, it'll look good. So that's what I'm thinking of. I don't like those wooden handles, and all I did was I got a pair of pliers and removed them, and I thought I got all the glue off with a blade. So that is the start of it. I think I'm probably going to go with the two bats because I like the shape rather than the sort of more OTT of the gold one, but I will be keeping those to hand because they could be handy, especially since I'm trying to add bat details around the room. The other thing I've done is I've cut a lot of bats. Now these were cut, they're die cut. I think I showed the dies that I got in the last video. Yeah, I've cut 3 layers. I'm going to glue them together. It's just cereal box material. And then I think I'm going to cut it down to make, in some way, shape or form, make a sort of decorative piece to go on the, I don't know what you call it. I really don't know what you call it. It's that sort of corner between the legs and the drawers. But I'm thinking, I'm wondering whether to just go with a bit of a bat wing or to go with, dare I say it, half a bat. I've cut 2 sets so far. I can cut more. It's not a problem. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. So I'm going to get the glue out and start sticking, and hopefully by the time I come back to you I will have decided between one bat or 2. Oh, the choices I have to make in miniatures, honestly. This is what I've ended up doing with the tables. I've obviously attached my new false drawer fronts, and I went with the double bat and a bead combo for the handles. They will, once it's all been painted black, be given a dry brushing of silver to give it a bit of definition. Now with my bats, which were 3 layers of the cereal box material, I waited until they were dried thoroughly, and I cut them in half, and then I've stuck the halves on each side, and I think that looks quite effective. You can tell what it's supposed to be, and that's what I want. So this is now definitely my bat tables. Now I'm hoping that it will look good once it's painted. I'm still undecided about adding another top to it. I think I might, because there is some roughness, there is some imperfections, and obviously the paint isn't going to do me any favours, but we shall see. So those are now ready to paint. It's a bit windy today because it's another day, because I've left stuff to dry properly. So I'm hoping that I can get another fairly less breezy day and I can actually get these painted really, really soon. Now, the painting that I did yesterday is here, and what a transformation. I am really quite impressed. Now, the plastic of this piece is quite frankly dire. Now, if I show you the back, which I haven't painted, you can possibly see that it's got a really odd texture. And if you look at this side, there looks like there's sawdust in it. I don't know what it is. I don't know how they've done it, whether it's been done with some kind of resin and they've put this stuff in to reduce the amount they need. I don't know, but it's not the best finish. But I think, that said, it's actually come up really quite nice. And yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. There's a few bits that aren't perfect, but I think once it's in the back of my dining room, it's going to work. Obviously, I've got to refit mirrors and glass and even the handles, which I think again I'm going to go for a silver finish. Probably I'm going to and paint those in black. If I'd actually have really thought about it, I could have left them in and just spray painted them, but it works. And this door should hopefully still close. I haven't tried to close it yet. I'm not going to do that on camera. I may end up then having to touch up the paint, but otherwise I think it's come out pretty damn good, which I think for a cheap piece of plastic furniture, that is going to work really quite well in my spooky dining room. So yeah, progress has been made. I have been at the spray paint again and I've painted the tables. Now, I don't know if it's because there's not a lot of paint left in the can. I was given the end of a can of paint to try to see if it would work on my furniture, but some of it is shinier than others. Now, this is supposed to be a satin finish paint, and I don't know if it's something I've done because it was a bit windier than I would have liked, if it's the wood that I'm painted on or what, but I've got some pieces that are shiny and some pieces that aren't. So what I may do is I may yet see if a little bit of matte Mod Podge will even it out. I don't know. Aside from that, I'm liking how they look in the black. They look far more fitting of my doll's house than they did in the bare wood. So I'm counting this as a success of sorts. I've just got to figure out if I can get a better finish or not. So that's where I'm at. Next step, and I think I'm going to be including it in this video, hopefully, fingers crossed, is I'm going to actually start making the fireplace. So I'm going to get the chimney breast back out and see what I can do. I'm not 100% sure what I'm doing. I've got an idea. I'm hoping it's going to work, but who knows? If it doesn't work, well, I'll be making excuses about it in just a little while. Next on my list was a fireplace, and this is what I've come up with. Now, I've taken the fake chimney breast that I made and I have built the fireplace onto it. And what I have done is I've put a piece on the back just to give it all a bit of a back. So it just looks black, and I can put something in there, maybe a floral display or something, and it'll work. Now, I've made this out of foam board. I use the offcuts for making the the false wall and the chimney breast itself. My mind has completely gone today. Now, I decided I'd have a look for a black marble finish, and I was going to go for something a bit smaller, but there's a stately home near where I live, a big Georgian mansion, and they've got some marble in there that is really big and in your face. And I decided I'd try and mimic that in miniature. What I've done is I've made my hearth piece by making a bottom, which, as you can see, I've cut out around the bits there and just wedged it in. And then I made this, as I say, I made it from the scraps. So it's actually made from 3 pieces, 2 for the legs and then 1 for that piece. And then a separate piece on the top to make the actual mantle shelf. And yeah, as I say, all I did was I found an image that was a free to use image on the internet, and I printed it out just on ordinary printer paper, and I think it worked quite well. It's just a scrap I've got left over. You could, if you wished, put some clear tape over the top to give it a shine. I'm not going to bother, because I think in my house the idea that the marble hasn't been kept as clean as it might would work. And I do like the sort of matte effect that you get by just using the paper. But as I say, you could use some clear packing tape over the top, or other clear sticky back plastic. I have actually, I think, got some that would have been big enough to have done the whole thing, certainly the whole main part of it. This was all obviously covered in one. That was covered separately, that was covered separately, and it's worked out okay. It's not the best fireplace in the world, but once it's dressed, I think it's going to work really, really well. So yeah, another thing off my list. Now, I may add a grate in front of the fire later on. I did that in my witch's workroom. I've got a little grate, and if I do that, I will include it in probably a future video. Because I don't think I'm going to be making it just at the moment. I'm now going to go and try it in the room and see how it looks, because I haven't done that yet. Amazing, I know, because it is normally the first thing I do, but there we go. Today I am a little bit on the slow side. So I am finishing off in the actual doll's house again. Now, as you can see, excuse the felt covering the cabinet at the back. I've actually put the mirror back in place and it reflects the light, something terrible, and I've just covered it for the time being. I really need to do something with the doors. They look very out of place, I think is the answer. Very light, but I can do that. That door will still come out. The door on the side over here, not so much. That's going to have to be done in situ. So I've not fastened the floor down yet. I've not fastened anything in place that needs to be fastened in place. The chimney breast is still loose. Now, I have added some matte Mod Podge to the tables. I have also, as you can probably make out, added a little bit of silver to the bats to make the handles, and we'll pop that back in there. I have also added some matte Mod Podge to the fireplace. I ummed and ahed over it. I tried matte Mod Podge and another varnish that I've got on some scraps of the paper, and eventually I decided I was going to give it some protection. It just means that if I decide to put anything on there and hold it in place with a little bit of tacky wax, it's going to stay put. And I am really looking at this room and I'm liking it. And I'm actually looking at it and I'm thinking I could quite easily use it as it is without finishing the doors. I've still got to put a light in, but I'm hopefully going to have a video on the lights coming up real soon. But I could put the table back in even though that and the chairs are still brown, and just use it if I really had to, and that's great. I'm loving it. I am feeling like I can get ready for Halloween, which means I can make some cool stuff to go in the doll's house for Halloween. Obviously I've focused on the outside for the last couple of years because I didn't have a room suitable for decorating, but I've now got this, and that is going to be great. I have also got more decorative pieces of a more normal nature to make for in here. Got some ideas for that. And I can decorate Grandmama's workroom for Halloween if I so desire. I'm going to get there. Honest, I'm going to get there. We're going to get normal service resumed really, really soon, I hope. But this is the start. We've got one of the principal rooms all but decorated, and it's looking good. Well, I think it is. Apart from the felt, but you know, you don't want to be looking at light and cameras and Lord knows what else. So, that said, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, please like, comment and subscribe. Ring that notification bell, because then it should hopefully let you know when I upload another video. I'm going to be trying to get back into a more regular routine soon, but just for the meantime, ring the bell in the hope that YouTube will let you know when I get one ready and out for you. And until next time, bye!